Forgive me if I use some notes today, but I wanted to share something with you that is very personal and emotional for me, and I thought that this season seemed the right time to do it. Years ago, when I was in junior college, I became very ill one weekend, and I came home from school, and I died. Of course, at the time, I had never heard the term near-death experience or out-of-body experience. I really did not know what had happened. I can only tell you that something wonderful happened, something that took me many years to speak about without being overcome with joy again. But it was typical of what you hear about near-death experiences. I looked down at my body and I saw my father shaking my shoulders and calling my name. I felt freed from this shell, and I felt great. I didn't feel sick anymore. And I rose up through the layers of the building and into the sky and flew further away and just went faster and faster. I entered that tunnel that you hear about. It seemed like I went thousands of miles for an immeasurable amount of time. And then I stood before God, and I felt His great peace and love surrounding me. And I wanted to stay. But even as I stood there before Him, drinking in that wonderful Spirit, He looked at me with great compassion and said, "You have to go back." And I cried out in anguish, but was immediately yanked back into that tunnel, traveling even faster back. And I landed with a thud in my sick body and opened my eyes, still hearing myself cry. It probably took me 5 years before I stopped looking around and wondering, was today the day I get to go home? But now I understand, after all these years, that God had other plans for me. And maybe that plan is to be able to share just a little bit of that joy, to remind you once again of what you experienced when God came into your life. So I thought this would be a great time for me to sing this beautiful traditional song, "He Touched Me."